Okay, welcome into the Third and Thirsty podcast. It's our first episode. My name is Alex, lifelong Bronco fan, witness to 3 Super Bowls. I got Omar to my left, one of 4 Charger fans, witness to 0 Super Bowls. And I have Edgar to my right, long-suffering Raider fan, witness to 0 Super Bowls. So we started this podcast here. We know each other. Omar and I married different cousins of Edgar, not the same one. And we sit around and we talk shit about our teams.
Mostly the Raiders. But
yeah, mostly the Raiders. That's usually the focus. But we figure we might as well get together once a week, have a couple beers, and put it on tape. So, not to talk for all 3 of us, but I wouldn't say that any of us are football experts. So if you're coming here looking for X's and O's breakdown, I don't know if we're going to be that podcast, but we're just going to be here kind of having a good time and talking shit. So
that's our expertise, is shit talking.
And drinking beer.
And drinking for sure.
Yeah. So
Yep.
Today's episode, the first episode, thank you for listening. If you are, hopefully you're not just listening to make fun of us. If you are, totally get it. We're 3 guys in our mid-30s starting a podcast, so I'd probably be talking some shit too. But we're going to talk about a little bit about last year, what we like from each team. And talking about our own teams. I don't think we'll have anything nice to say about other teams. We'll go into who we thought the breakout player was for each team, and then go into who we want next year to be the breakout player from our team. So, fortunately, I have to start with the second place team of the AFC West. You'll notice we do not have a Chiefs representative here. But if you look behind us, we have plenty of Kansas City stuff, so maybe that'll make up for it.
Nah, F the Chiefs. F the Chiefs. I'm not the only one that'll say it. Everybody will say F the Chiefs.
So I'll turn it over to Omar. He'll talk a little bit about the Chargers and how Harbaugh added a couple wins to their season.
Harbaugh. That's all we were saying all year for the Chargers. We were going in with high expectations, especially since the year before ended in very little wins for us. So we had a lot to hope for, and we were relying on Harbaugh, his expertise, his years of experience building other teams before the Chargers to winners. So
his khakis.
And his khakis. So, yeah, he came in. He made a couple changes. We had to let a couple players go. Contractual situation that we had to get under the cap. So, long lifers, for me at least. Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen was a hard one to see go. But, business is business. You got to get with the times. And we also had to let go of cut Mike Williams. Mike Williams was our big play threat that we had the whole.
No, he wasn't.
He was not a big threat. The only big play threat we ever had.
He was the only threat to drop a ball, dude.
Or get hurt.
Okay, yeah.
But I mean, those were mainstays in our offense. Those are staples in our offense, which were, for a Chargers fan, we don't get too many of those great players. Keenan Allen was one of them. So it was hard to see him go. We did keep our defense, at least our edge rushers, intact with Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, giving them another shot to keep us going, keep our defense intact. And as the season went on, our defense is really what kept us in a lot of games. Defensive coordinator Jesse Minter came in and did a great job, I think. He was one of the top defensive coordinators in the league, as far as I can see it. First year in, had to take a group he didn't know, a couple guys that came in on 1-year deals, on prove-it deals, and I feel like he did a great job. He had one of the best, I think the number 1 scoring defense in the league. So going from bottom of the barrel defense to top 5 or 10 was a big change for us. That's, like I said, kept us in the game. And on top of that, the offense it didn't get going right away, but towards the end we got some breakout players that we'll get into a little bit later. But right now, that's where I'm at with the Chargers. Anything that you guys had to say about?
Yeah, you didn't really get much in their offense, but I don't blame you.
Well,
There's not
there
much
wasn't
to
much
say.
to say in the offense. It was real slow. It was real sluggish, like a Harbaugh offense is sluggish, ground and pound. The main offensive keys were, on top of Herbert, which he had a so-so year. J.K. Dobbins was our main running back.
He had a pretty good year.
Pretty good season, even though he was still hurt, which still kept up with the stigma of him, being injury prone. But it was only 1 year deal, so from here we'll see what we get going after that. The one guy that I would point out as well is that got us going would be Ladd McConkey, Ricky Ladd McConkey.
Yeah, he is a beast. Unfortunately,
so everybody had a chance to take him in the first round, but he was there sitting first in the second round. Of course, traded up to get him. Thank you, New England.
Yeah, New England's had a lot of mess ups this year. Yeah. So that it.
As far as what I got to say about the Chargers,
yeah, not much to say there. It's not like they didn't sweep the Broncos last year or anything, but
true.
Yeah, so we'll go over to the Broncos next. Third place, also an AFC wildcard team. 3 wildcard teams. 3 playoff teams from the AFC West. One of them didn't make it.
What team was that?
They got the 6th pick in the draft.
I don't know. What are you talking about?
But with the Broncos, going into this season, they had their win-loss total set at 5.5. So Vegas certainly didn't think they had a chance. I knew the Broncos were better than 5.5 wins. That's why I hammered the over and won me some money this year. Actually, I live in California, so I did not place a bet. I was joking. But yeah, man, I certainly didn't see 10 wins on that schedule. Always a tough schedule in the AFC West. Having to play the Chiefs twice, the Chargers twice. You get 2 easy wins with the Raiders. The Broncos finally took advantage of that this year.
How long did it take you?
They finally took advantage of it this year and beat them twice.
4 years
and
took?
Yeah, and beat them twice. It's a new era, bro. Bo is here. So.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, man, a lot of big step ups from players on the roster. Another thing that nationally the Broncos were ranked 30th or 32nd when it came to roster talent. I think that was PFF or ESPN, one of those bums. Obviously they proved everyone wrong. They had 5 All-Pros. You had big step-ups from guys like Zach Allen on the defensive line. You had Quinn Miners obviously even improving even more. Garrett Bowles still did his thing. Playmakers, we could have someone step up in that department. Our running backs were trash.
You said it, not me.
Yeah. So that'll be something that will be improving next year for sure. But obviously on the defensive end, you had the best player in the world on the defensive side in Patrick Surtain in his 3rd year, winning Defensive Player of the Year. It's only going to get better. And Brandon Jones stepping in, taking over Justice Simmons' spot. That was a tough one to lose, especially early in the offseason last year. But everyone kind of stepped up and did their thing. So next year, expect that to even improve more. Yeah, so that's what I got.
Now we're off to the last place? Fourth is usually last, right?
Last place, AFC West.
Last place.
6th pick in the draft.
Got the 6th pick.
6th pick could have been number 1, but they had 4.
We went 4.
Yeah, they finally
4th and 4 and 13.
Yeah, and they finally decided to win some games at the end of the season. A couple dumb idiots.
Woke up. Where the hell should I start?
They should have kept sleeping, bro.
Nah. Honestly, when the season started, I honestly had high hopes for the defense. I felt like the defense had really good players. Definitely top half of the NFL, so at least 15. Offense, I wasn't so sure. I was excited that we actually got an offensive coordinator and not somebody who was like it was he had no experience. But we might as well kept the other guy because the guy we picked up was nowhere near better whatsoever. But yeah, so when the season started, we went 1-1. We beat the Baltimore Ravens. We thought that everything was gonna go good, but as soon as we lost to the Panthers, that's when I knew it was gonna go all the way bad, bro. Fuck, man. Seeing that game, I was just like, bro, it's gonna be a long season. But yeah, but I mean, there were some upsides. We got a rookie tight end in Brock Bowers, number 1 tight end in the NFL, broke a bunch of records. That's pretty much it on the offensive side.
You don't have anything good to say about fucking Gardner Minshew?
I'll give you something. Jackson Powers Johnson did
yeah, Jackson Powers. Yes,
JPJ.
Yes, you're right about that. JPJ did ball out towards the end of the season.
He was blocking for nobody, but still.
Yeah, but JPJ definitely stepped up. He was definitely missed in the first round. DJ Glaze, even though a lot of people came out saying that he was overdrafted in the 3rd round, but held his own. Kept TJ Watt off our quarterback. Who else? That's honestly it for offense. I can't really think of anybody else. Our quarterbacks were garbage.
I threw you a bone there.
No,
That's
thank you.
all it was.
I appreciate it. I thought you guys were going to drill me, honestly. But on the defensive side, I mean, if it wasn't for injuries, even though, like, we had some standouts in, like, Ja'Cory Bennett. Obviously, Max Crosby was doing pretty good until he got hurt. Christian Wilkins was doing good until he ended up getting hurt. Robert Spillane, which unfortunately we're losing this season. Trayvon Moore, which we're also losing this season. But in the end of the day, it was a long season, and there's not really much to talk about it because, man, it was just bad.
That's crazy, man. A bad defense just lost a bunch of talent. That's
It
crazy.
seems like the Chargers the past couple of years before last. Oh, wait. Who'd you guys have as a GM?
Telesco?
Oh, yeah. Chargers GM for 10 years. And that got
It's a
us nowhere.
Telesco curse, man. Like, wherever
us
team
nowhere.
he takes over, they just get hurt.
Mm.
But very few standouts. At least 2 in the offense. In the defense, we had a couple, but we definitely missed them with injuries. Raiders were actually tied with the Lions in the most injuries in the NFL, and with 32. But the difference is they had a stacked team and good drafting the last couple of years, not like the Raiders.
There's a couple differences there.
Yeah, just a couple.
Also, they have a quarterback.
And yes, they also have a really very talented quarterback. Not like damn Minshew, which was just an interception machine.
That Minshew magic ran out finally.
Surprisingly, he got picked up again, but
Yeah,
He's a chief?
he's a chief.
Yeah, he's gonna be a backup.
Of course.
Nah, man. He's beating out Mahomes for
No,
the
I'm
start.
saying he's a lifelong backup from now on. Like, you know, that's all he's ever going to be
Yeah,
from
for
now
sure.
on. He's not going to get any other
We should have been even last year.
starting considerations.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of Raider fans were hoping that Aidan O'Connell was going to beat him out, but
That's a tough spot to be in, hoping that Aiden O'Connell's going to be your starting quarterback. I remember those days.
yeah.
Can't relate.
Me either. Me either.
I mean, one good thing I will say about the Raiders is they had a head coach that liked NWA and was super vibey, and
He definitely got the best out of their players, but the inexperience, it was very visible during
damn,
the
that's
season.
another tough thing to say. He got the best out of the players, and they went with the 6th pick in the draft.
Yeah.
That's tough. Well, sorry, Edgar. It's not your
fine.
fault. You
It's
get
cool.
Let's stop bringing
I
everybody
mean,
down.
you got to be used to it being a Raider fan. It's got to be pretty fucking tough.
I mean,
Let's come up from there. Let's go into our breakout players. Will we pick 2 from defense, 2 from offense?
I don't know if Edgar's gonna have enough.
I mean, I could, but some of them are injured.
I don't know if Edgar's
And
going
I
to
kind of
have
already
two
said
on
my
each
first
side.
two from offense.
Let's
Well,
just
actually one until Omar helped me out with that one.
let's start with one on each side.
My top one on defense for the Chargers is going to be Deion Henley, second year linebacker. He came in with his head on fire. He came in and had 147 tackles on the year. He locked down tight ends. Him and DJ Derwin James had tight ends on lock all season long. If it wasn't for him, our defense would have not been as good as it was last year. It would not have been anywhere near what we got to last year. Number one scoring defense in the league. That he was the biggest part of it. You got Khalil Mack, you got Joey Bosa, you got, like I said, Derwin James. But out of all those people, Deion Henley was my top defensive player for the Chargers. On offense, of course, I gotta go with Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey started off a little bit sluggish at the beginning of the season, just because I don't think Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, knew how to use him that well. He never had
He was the coordinator for the Ravens last year?
a couple years ago.
Oh. Cool.
Yeah, he didn't know. This is probably the best.
Well, the Ravens
receiver
never
he's
actually
all
had a
season.
receiver, so he was like, how do you play them?
Yeah, they've had. I mean, this is the best receiver that Greg Roman's probably had in his offense that did this well. He came up. He had stats like he had 7 TDs. He had 1,149 yards in his first season as a rookie. As a rookie, you don't really see that as a rookie. You know, and he came up big in big spots. It wasn't just putting up numbers when garbage time. It was in big spots, when we needed him, he was always there. So that was my standout player on offense.
Yeah, Ladd had a pretty good year, man. And he has a cool name.
McConkey.
Yeah.
Ladidi.
Yeah. God, man, you weren't kidding. You are dressed like Seth from Superbad today. Almost like you dressed up as him for fucking Halloween.
I could wear this. I could wear this on Halloween. I just need the fro to go with it.
Some Seth's dressing.
Yep.
Man, the Broncos with breakout players. I kind of touched on it, man. They had so many guys break out on both sides of the ball this year. Guys that weren't expected to do so. On the defense, I mean, obviously Patrick Surtain was already well established. Greatest cornerback of all time. Well, maybe next to Champ Bailey. Or Aqib Talib. Or Chris Harris. Man, we've had a lot of good cornerbacks. Anyways, you're talking about him. Zach Allen was a good player before, but man, he really played out of his mind this year. Brandon Jones, again, coming over from the Dolphins, played really well. But for the one guy I'm going to pick as a breakout player, holding it down for the white corners, opposite Patrick Surtain, you got Riley Moss. Man, you get a lot of attention playing across from the best corner in the league. And he really did, especially at the beginning of the year before teams really knew what was going on. And there was a point in the season where Riley Moss even had some better stats than Patrick Surtain. So he was just balling out of control, playing really well, locking down receivers. He did have that injury at the end of the year against the Raiders that really slowed him down, in particular against the Cincinnati Bengals with T. Higgins, who it wasn't the worst thing in the world for me because he single-handedly won me our fantasy league in the fantasy championship that week. So, I mean, it was tough watching him catch that third touchdown to win the game, and wasn't too upset when I looked at the score of the fantasy game. So, but yeah, I mean, before that injury, he was just playing lights out. I really expect him next year to have the same sort of season. Man, I don't know how anyone's going to be able to score against the Broncos next year.
Ladd McConkey.
Well, we'll talk about free agency next episode, but man, we got a guy in the middle now that could really cover. Tight ends like Brock Bowers. Guys in the middle like Ladd McConkey. His name's great. Dre Greenlaw. Might have heard of him. But going to the offensive side of the ball, Again, a lot of breakouts. There's guys that people are going to talk about, obviously, like Bo Nix. That's kind of an easy one. So maybe I'll avoid him today. I'll talk about Marvin Mims. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler now in his second season. That is as a returner.
I was going to say return.
But
crazy.
those last couple of games, man, Cincinnati had that crazy catch to bring it into overtime, jumping over the defenders. That was something that he hadn't flashed yet. He was mostly known as a speed guy, someone that could really break over the middle of the field, break the top off the defense, which he did against the Browns, against bitch-ass Jerry Jeudy.
How many yards did he get
I was
again?
about to say, Jones, don't be talking about Jerry Jeudy when he did
Man,
that to
I
you
will
guys.
talk all the shit
How
about
many
Jerry
yards did he
Jeudy.
get?
He did that to you guys, though.
Yeah,
Put you guys
he
in-
did it. He did it against corner number 4, who was off the fucking team after that game. He was running. He was running away from Surtain all damn game because he knows he can't go up against him. So, bitch ass Jerry Jeudy, if you're listening,
Please listen, Jerry Jeudy. Please listen.
give us a shout out. You're welcome on the pod anytime. But man, we don't miss you in your subtweets and all your fucking bullshit. But yeah, man, Marvin Mims, he really turned it on at the end of the season. The Broncos have a couple of wide receivers that are young that they're going to stick with next year. Obviously, you have Sutton, who's going to be really carrying the load. But Vele, Mims, Franklin, I expect at least one of those guys next year to really turn it on. If I had to pick one, it'd be Mims.
You can say that.
Yeah.
All right.
All
Can you
right.
come up with one on your side of the ball?
Yeah, I got it. I got you, man. I love my team, even though they broke my heart last year.
Last year?
It took you how many years did it take to break your heart?
They've
My
been breaking
bro-
your heart since you've been born, bro.
Since I've been born. Nah, I mean, obviously, like for breakout players for offense, I can obviously pick Brock Bowers, but I'm not going to, even though he did have over 1,000 yards receiving. He broke every record for a tight end and everything, especially just being a rookie with no quarterback.
He was a beast. I did tell you draft day he was a steal at 11.
Yeah. So the one person that I'm gonna pick is Jacoby Myers. He was receiver number 2 when Adams was on the team. As soon as Adams pulled a little diva move and stuff,
I told you he would.
I mean, he got what he deserved. As soon as we got rid of him, he became number 1, and he finished the season with 0 drops, like not a drop whatsoever, over 1,000 yards. He really stepped up for us. He put us in winnable opportunities until Minshew would fuck it up. But yeah, I mean, for offense, like I said, there really wasn't much, but we definitely have a couple weapons that we're hoping that this upcoming season they can actually come through. As for defense,
Excuse you.
sorry, excuse me.
It's all good. I'll edit out later. I'll try.
As for defense, like I said, we had way too many injuries, but one person that did came through, balled out when Christian Wilkins came down, got injured, was Adam Butler. He played his heart out. He played really good. He stopped the run. He got plenty of sacks, and he actually played just enough for him to get re-signed this year to a 2-year contract, I think it was. So it's a team-friendly deal, but he definitely earned that. He played his heart out for a team that really wasn't playing for much towards the end of the season. But yeah, I mean, after all this, that's pretty much the only person I can honestly say because I wish
there's Max Crosby and
but he got hurt.
Yeah, and
team.
you can't say he's a breakout player. Obviously, he's well
he
established.
got hurt. I mean, Christian Wilkins
great
got hurt like in week 4 or 5. That first game against Denver, like he got hurt. He was out for the season. Crosby was out by week 7 or by middle of the season. One of our corners was that was actually like being like ranked as top 10. Jaquan Bennett, he was actually doing really good. I was actually shocked because 2 years ago he was like the new rookie that we had this year to Decam Richardson. He's the one that actually in the second game versus Denver he freaking let Sutton, like he gave him like over 100 yards and like 2-3 touchdowns.
Yeah, he didn't.
And then
do
Quentin
shit.
Johnson,
Sutton
he gave
took
him
it.
150
Sutton took that.
yards, and I was just like, man, this kid is getting burned. But hopefully, we're hoping this with all our changes this upcoming season, because he has the size, the speed, and everything, and hopefully with the new coaching, we can turn that around.
We'll see what the coaching does, because different coaches bring in different systems. That's what I felt with Harbaugh coming in. I was used to seeing a lot more.
If you had
offense,
if you had
more
a single
high-powered.
worry about Harbaugh coming in, you're tripping.
No, I'm saying the offense with Greg Roman, it was different than what we're used to seeing in the NFL with all these high-powered offenses, scoring points, and Harbaugh is more of a ground and pound, chew up the clock, get the defense tired, and pick your spots.
Yeah, but for me, honestly, the only reason why is because obviously we got Pete Carroll, and when he had the Seahawks actually balling out, he loved like corners that were tall, like lengthy, and like had speed, and that's basically Decam Richardson. And he's a tall, runs a 4.3, like he's very lengthy. Like I'm pretty sure he can pretty much make him like. I'm not gonna say he's gonna be Richard Sherman or like be one of the top corners, but I can honestly see that he's gonna play a lot better than he did last year.
Well, it's pretty hopeful. I mean, they brought in Geno Smith too.
I mean, well,
Yeah.
So they're bringing the whole gang. They didn't get Metcalf though.
No.
Go ahead.
I mean, that's for another episode. What they asked for DK.
Yeah, we'll get into plenty of stuff this offseason. Really learning how to do this whole podcasting thing. Again, appreciate anybody that's listening unironically and is actually giving a shit about what we have to say.
Even if you found this channel like on accident, thanks for like sticking around for 5-10 seconds. Like we appreciate that.
Yeah, whatever works.
Yeah. So next, what we're gonna get into, what we want to look into for next season.
Next season.
Next season's breakout candidate.
Next season for me, breakout candidates. We're still going one offense, one defense.
Sure. I mean, we can do that.
Right.
I'll come up with some.
Defensively, a breakout candidate. I mean, he kind of broke out this year. Had 4 interceptions. I want to say 8 pass deflections. Tariq Steele, 5th round rookie. Him and Cam Ward, both of them. Cam.
Definitely
His
not
last name. But
you don't want him on your
5th round
defense.
rookies. They were both 5th round rookies that ended up starting, and they made big plays. One of them ended up starting on the outside. Tariq Steele could play both inside and outside. That's why I picked him as my next year's breakout player. And like I said, he already came in. He's ballsy. He's one of those guys that he'll take that risk. And if he takes the risk and misses, he has the speed and the agility to recover and not make it a big mistake. It might, go for a decent play, but maybe not for a touchdown. But he's accurate with his risks, and he doesn't overplay balls when he doesn't need to. A sure tackler. He was a good tackler even in college. And then on offense, if I had to pick a breakout player for the upcoming year, it would have to be Quentin Johnson. Quentin Johnson had a bit of a breakout year this year. He went from scoring 2
What's the only
touchdowns.
receiver you guys had besides Ladman Conkey?
He went from 2 to 7 touchdowns. At 7 touchdowns, you know how many millions of dollars receivers get paid to catch 7 touchdowns a year?
I don't know. Ask Quentin Johnson.
He doesn't. He's still on a rookie deal. But I guarantee you, who had 7 touchdowns on the Broncos? But still, I'm pretty sure there was maybe one guy that
I know
had.
Brock Bowers did.
Who else besides that?
Jacoby Myers.
That's good. Okay. You got me on that one.
Right,
No, but I mean, I feel like they were actually using him more to his skill set this year. They weren't just throwing the ball deep because he's tall and big and tell him to go get the ball, because that's not his game whatsoever. He's not a physical receiver. He uses his speed.
Big for now.
He uses his speed, and with the ball in his hands, he turns into a different guy. If he's a receiver going and getting the ball, he's not that guy. He's not that guy to go and get the ball. But those slants, those dig routes, quick throws, getting the ball in his hands, he makes things happen. That's what I'm saying is if they're using him right, now they got an actual X receiver in Mike Williams where they don't have to play Quentin Johnson at the X all the time. They can still give him his reps there, but still put him in as a wide receiver, as a guy that just gets the ball, dig routes, even end arounds, get the ball in his hands, and let him get that runway to make things happen.
It's funny you say they finally have a receiver like Mike Williams. They just had him.
Well, I mean, the year before and the year before that, Mike only played 3 games. So Quentin Johnson they try to make Quentin Johnson into Mike Williams, which is, like I said, it's not his game. That's not what he's about. He's not one of those 50-50 ball guys. He's not one of those over-the-shoulder, go-and-get-it ball guys. He's a quick, get the ball in his hands and let him make a play. He's a former running back in high school, and he learned to play receiver in college. So he's better with the ball in his hands, and let him make plays, let him make guys miss. So those are my defensive and offensive breakout candidates for the 2025 year.
Okay, got it. Looking at the Broncos, I mean, on the defensive side, it's kind of hard to pick a breakout player since, I mean, almost all of their starters now are pretty well established. You got on the line, you got Nick Bonino. Towards the end of the season, he was in the Defensive Player of the Year mix too. Zach Allen, we've already talked about a couple of times today. He had a great year. DJ Jones also had a great year. He earned himself a big contract during the offseason. On the other side, you have Jonathan Cooper. He's also had a couple of good years back-to-back. The corners, I mean, what else can I say about Patrick Surtain? Riley Moss already talked about white corner. Our linebacker play last year was a little bit of an issue. Alex Singleton, he's been established. He's a great player. He got hurt against the Raiders, tore his ACL in the beginning of the game, finished the game, and then missed the rest of the season. He's already running with the parachute behind him. I don't know what you call that, but he's running with
resistance running.
Yeah, he's resistance running, parachute running. So he'll be back strong next year, obviously with Greenlaw. So, I mean, man, you look all over the defense. They brought in Hufanga, already an All-Pro. Brandon Jones played really well last year. So I guess I'll just pick on the one guy who isn't like an All-Pro or a Pro Bowler yet, and that's our slot corner, Jaquan McMillan, who's also played really well. He had that big pick six at the end of the game against the Browns, bitch ass Jerry Jeudy. So he's had, I mean, a couple of good years. He's an undrafted guy. Came in playing really well, not last year, but the year before. So, I mean, next year, maybe he plays even a little bit better. Broncos on paper, if Hufanga and Greenlaw stay healthy, they're going to have the best defense in the league. You could lock that down now.
You sound like a Chargers fan from like the 2015 to like 2023.
Well, here's the difference.
If we were the best team on paper.
Here's the difference. The Broncos have stayed healthy the last 2 years, which is a big difference from 3-4 years ago when they had huge injuries. They were top of the league with money on the injured reserve. The last couple of years, they've really avoided the injury. I mean, Singleton was really the only big injury last year. It's credit to their new strength and conditioning coaches that they have there. I'm sorry I don't have his name. If you're listening, I do apologize.
I'll shout out the Chargers strength and conditioning coach, Ben Herbert.
Ben Herbert
is a fucking beast.
Ben Herbert, if you are listening, you are a beast.
If you are listening.
But yeah, man, I mean, if the Broncos can stay healthy, which I expect they will have the top defense next year. There's no question about that. So I guess I have to go with Jaquan McMillan. On the off, go ahead.
I feel sorry for the broadcasters that have to say Jaquan McMillan is covering Ladd McConkey and having to say that without stumbling.
If you ask Joe Buck, He's called him Jaquan McMillian, which I mean, even a cooler name. I mean,
I would definitely trademark it that if I was him.
so Joe Buck, if you're listening, is Jaquan McMillian, not Jaquan McMillian.
And Jaquan McMillan, if you're listening, trademark Jaquan McMillian.
So on the offensive side of the ball, obviously there's a little bit more there to choose from. I'm not going to get into running backs because a breakout candidate as a running back on the Broncos, that person is not on the roster right now, unfortunately. I would love to say Estime, but it's clear that Peyton doesn't have a lot of faith in him. He benched him in the only playoff game that they had last year. So have to just think that maybe he's not in the future plans, not too far from here. Jaleel McLaughlin, I really like the guy. He's really shifty. He's made a couple of really good plays, but man, just not quite there. Obviously, Javante's gone.
That was a hard one for you guys, Javante leaving.
No,
He was just consistent enough for you guys to run your offense.
He wasn't, man. I mean,
I thought he was.
I think he averaged like 3.2
The only
last
reason
year.
I'm saying he wasn't because I picked him up on fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was not coming through.
I mean, his rookie season was like out of this world. He
Yes.
hurt himself against the fucking Raiders. Blew up his entire knee. It just hasn't been the same. I really hope he does well in Dallas. But again, there's no breakout candidate on the Broncos roster as a running back. Tight end, I mean, we have Ingram now. He's broken out. He's the Joker. Offensive line, again, I mean, all those guys are pretty solid. So we have to go into the wide receiver group. I already talked about Mims, so I'm not going to talk about him. Another guy there is Troy Franklin. Troy Franklin obviously played with Bo Nix in Oregon. Bo Nix to Troy Franklin for a touchdown against the Bills was the first rookie-to-rookie touchdown ever in a playoff game, which is kind of crazy to think about.
That is crazy.
That was a nice touchdown, too.
It was. It got me gave me a little bit of hope in that game that they might pull off the miracle. That quickly went away.
That was the only hope that you had in the whole game.
But Troy Franklin, man, if he just made a couple of catches last year that he dropped, he would have added like 300 yards to his end of the season total because they were all bombs in the end zone. I think he'll clean that up next year. At least I hope. Sean Payton's talked about how he feels that our wide receiver room is where he wants it to be. I don't know if he's just playing his Sean Payton games. He does that a lot. Maybe he's looking at a wide receiver in the draft. But if he's not and he has faith in these guys, that's enough for me. Sean Payton has my trust 100% after drafting Bo Nix. Bo Nix, if you're listening, shout out.
Second best player in the NFL from Oregon right now.
Yeah, I'll take that. He is a rookie.
First is Herbert.
Okay. Yeah, Herbert hasn't done anything since his second year. Anyways, yeah, man, I guess I'd have to go with Troy Franklin. I mean, if he could play well opposite Sutton and Mims, if him and Mims could kind of take that load as the second guy, pause. And really share that responsibility. Again, pause. Then, I mean, man, that offense really could open up with Ingram in the middle. So we'll see. I mean, I'm really hoping Troy Franklin could take off.
Damn. That's good. Well, for me, honestly, there is a few players that I wish that they can step up next year, but sadly, a lot of them did leave this upcoming season, but there is a couple. Like I said, Cam Richardson from the defense. I am hoping that Pete Carroll can, put some confidence in him because he has the speed. He can go like stride for stride with any receiver. I just wish that he had the confidence and just trusted his game because he would be doing a lot of pass interference. A lot of times he'll give the player too much space, and it was it was easy for them to get the quick throws out and everything. There's also Tyree Wilson, which he was our first round pick a couple years back, Still hasn't really broken out. Really hasn't done much.
How many years has he been playing now?
He's 2 years.
Okay.
But I mean, he did come out hurt. No excuses. But he's still like trying to get a hold of it. They did move him inside to like inside lineman, and he does pretty good. He did pretty good against this year. He got 4 sacks. He did stop the run a lot. He just needs to step up more, man. Like he has the athletic ability to do everything. He's just, I don't know, the confidence, I think.
Does he like NWA?
I'm pretty sure he does.
Okay. Well, that's a step in the right direction if you're ready.
Would Christian Wilkinson coming back have any effect on his play?
Well, the thing is that when he was like when they were playing like already like in week 2 against the Ravens or week 3, I forgot. Excuse me again. It wasn't really that much that like he would like do good, but he was still slow off the edge. He wasn't really using his strength that much, even when he was just having that one person to guard that was guarding him. Like, so it was just, I don't know, like even with Christian Wilkins and Max Crosby on the other side, he still was having kind of trouble getting pretty slow to the quarterback. But against the run, he was doing great. But we're hoping this come after the end of this the season or last season and this upcoming season, that we're hoping that it's starting to click for him. One person that I am excited for is Malcolm Kuntz. He ended up tearing his ACL during the mini camp, so we didn't get to see him. We pretty much ball out this year.
When did he come back? Did he come back at all this year?
He didn't come back at all. He missed the entire season, and I was actually kind of nervous, thinking that we weren't going to re-sign him, and I did hear that there was a lot of teams are very interested in him. So I was hoping that we can bring him back with the team-friendly deal, which we did. So I'm hoping that he can like pretty much ball out, but if he does, I feel like he's going to be a little too expensive for us to bring him back. So.
Weren't the Raiders supposed to have like $400 million in cap space? They didn't use shit this year. No one wants to play there.
That's what I've heard a lot about that. But the thing is that we brought a lot of like good players, and we're not overpaying them. And it's to the point that next year, when we, during the off season, we're gonna be able to continue like bringing in good players without having to spend too much money. Like we're gonna be considered top 5 in the cap.
So what's the excuse this year?
There's no excuse. I mean, like, it's just basically like we don't want to overspend on certain players and get stuck with them on the big contracts.
Yeah, I mean, big contracts free agency don't always work out. That's for sure.
So I mean, that's from what I'm hearing, and like, because we definitely need a lot of players, and I thought we were gonna be like strong on during the off season, but it just seems that they've just been like very, very like. They've been picking certain players that they can build up, but it's a lot of prove-it players, not a lot of players that really, that really made a name for themselves yet. But yeah, so Malcolm Kuntz, Tyree Wilson, D. Cam Richardson. Who else?
Did you have anybody on offense?
Yeah, and for offense, I would honestly say. I'm hoping I wouldn't really say running back because I feel like they're going to focus that on the draft. I'm hoping maybe the offensive line, like Dylan Parham, he's our offensive guard, has been really good. And he's going to be this upcoming season, he's going to be playing for his contract year. So a lot of players always ball out during their contract year. So I'm hoping that happens. Cohen Miller's also playing for a contract year. But I highly doubt we're going to re-sign him because he is considered one of the top left tackles, and there's a lot of
Don't you have a ton of cap space?
Yeah, if you got a tackle, bro, you got to keep your tackle.
Yeah,
you can't just like hope to get somebody equally as good or better.
Yeah,
that never happens.
Luckily, dude has free will and he could get the fuck out of Las Vegas.
But honestly,
he could go pay state taxes somewhere else.
Yeah, because honestly, like. What's his name? Damn, I forgot this other guy's name. he ended up getting hurt. But when Colin Miller got hurt last year, which made him get surgery during the offseason, when he went in, he basically just we didn't skip a beat. But this upcoming season, like the guy who took over Colton Miller's spot, he ended up getting hurt and was out for the season. Basically, Colton Miller was coming off of injury. I mean, off of an injury off during the off season, so he got no off season workouts. Dylan Parham was honestly our best lineman until he ended up getting hurt after the first half. And Andrew James, or what's his name?
Yeah.
Andrew James, right? Well, he's now a Charger. He ended up getting hurt, and JPJ ended up taking over his spot, but Andrew James couldn't hold the middle. He just couldn't. Like, I don't know if it was a scheme. I don't know what it really was. I honestly think it was a scheme because Raiders have always been a power run scheme type. And this year they were doing more of a, what's that called?
Shitty
zone.
just shitty running team.
Yeah.
They were doing zone, and that's what really, like, I don't know. He just wasn't good at it, or just, I don't know. But that right guard spot, I'm hoping they fill it in with either the draft or something, because I thought they were going to sign somebody like Mekhi Becton, but they completely ignored it. They still haven't picked up. I mean, they got, I forgot his name, something Kappa from the Bucks, or he was with the Bengals last season. Gave up the most sacks.
Sounds like a strong addition.
Oh yeah, for $5 million for 1 year.
Well, Mekhi Becton ended up with the Chargers, and that's going to be a big sign. We'll talk about free agency.
Oh, Alex Kappa, that's what.
And then in the next episode.
Yeah, we'll dive deep into free agency in the next one.
You're going to get your free agency deep dive from the Third and Thirsty boys next episode, whenever we record that. It might be here in a few minutes. I have no idea where we are at on time. Hopefully we got close to that hour we were looking at.
I mean, we're still hoping to talk about what we feel about next year compared to what, the 2025 season, where we left off at 24 and what we felt like were needs for the team.
Yeah.
Like for the Chargers, needs for the team, especially with so many of our players going into free agency. I want to say after the season ended, we had like 25 players signed for next year. That's like half you still need to fill for more than half for a 53-man roster, plus, the 90-man roster for training camp. There's a lot of spots that need to be just at least filled in with depth. Yeah. Even though most of them won't make the team or get cut, practice squad, or whatever the case would be. There's a lot of movement that's going to go on for the Chargers this year. Biggest need for defense for me, as far as I see it, is going to be interior defensive line and pass rushing interior defensive line. We had some good run stoppers this year, like Poona Ford, Tier Tart, but those guys were on 1-year deals.
They both sounded like ingredients in like a fancy cake.
But they were run stoppers, and they helped us get a lot better at stopping the run this year than we were the year before. But like I said, we need something that's going to be a mainstay, not 1-year deals. So I feel like either through the draft or through free agency, we're going to need a big body up front on defense that can be there for years to come and just be an anchor for the defense there, because we need that. Either an anchor, pass rusher, it doesn't matter, something that disrupts that pocket, because on the outside we had it this year, but the inside was just kind of not there as far as pass rush. So I'm hoping that gets addressed either, like I said, through free agency or the draft. But on offense, I mean, I could go the same place as far as interior offensive line, because our offensive line on the interior was dog shit. You had 2 studs on the outside, but just pudding in the middle.
Well, they've already touched on that.
Yeah.
A little bit.
But if I really had to go, I would do tight end, honestly. Pass catching tight end Will Dissly had a career year.
You guys had someone in the building recently, but ended up not signing him.
No, yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
He went somewhere
There's
else.
other options. There's other options out there. But no, pass catching tight end, that knows his role, because there's not going to be a lot of opportunities for pass catching tight ends, because they're a run first team, they're a trenches team. So even if they bring in a pass catching tight end, he's got to block. He's gonna be blocking a lot, and they got to get used to that. So I'm hoping it's through the draft, so then they build him into that as a good blocker. But there's a good amount of options in the draft, but who knows if it'll be there for us at 22. And
Well, didn't they just go and get Conklin? Well, hey, how do you feel about that?
that's just depth. 1 year deal, depth. So it's nothing that's going to stop us from getting something in the draft if it falls to us. At this point, we're best player available. We don't have a need at any position per se, like where we need to reach for something. It's just whatever falls to us, and if it's that position of need, then great. But like I said, hopefully it's the draft, because then you can build them into something, even if it is a day 2 pick, a round 2, round 3 pick, that you can build into something. Like I said, you got Will Dissly, who had a career year, but he is your blocking tight end, your primary blocking tight end for the Chargers, which plays a lot, because like I said, they're a run first offense. But if you can get somebody with the skill sets to catch the ball and coach up the blocking, then a year from now, after this year's draft, then that might play just like another draft pick for next year. You know, that's kind of what the Ravens do. They plan for the future. They don't always have a need. And you got 2 Harbaughs, and then our GM Ortiz came from the Ravens organization, so they're basically trying to run it exactly like them. And I mean, you can't talk too much shit about the Ravens, because they've been in the playoffs year in and year out. So I mean, getting into the playoffs is step number 1, and then building from there is
Well, I think the Chargers have gotten to that step. They've gotten to the playoffs, but then they just lose.
Well, this is year 1 of a difficult year, on at least during the playoffs.
We'll see.
But hey, Broncos didn't do much better, so we're both in the same boat at this point.
The Broncos should not have been sniffing the playoffs last year. I watched that playoff game with a huge smile on my face, even when they were getting their ass kicked. They should not have been there, and they made it. So going to the Broncos, that side, when you're looking at filling needs for next year, I mean, man, I hope I don't watch this podcast week 18 and be like, damn, we hella sucked at podcasting. And I sound like a fucking idiot. There is no holes to plug on that defense, man. There really isn't. With Singleton coming back, Greenlaw stepping in.
Not even like if somebody gets injured.
The edge guys, we have a lot of depth at edge. A lot of people talk about Von Miller coming into Denver. There's just no need.
I don't see it.
As much as I love him,
I don't see it.
and all Bronco fans do. Just is no need. We have too much depth. The corners, I mean, we've already talked about. The Broncos don't have anywhere to plug on defense. I'm standing on that. We're all set and ready to go. Maybe if you want to look at interior defensive line for like 3 years from now, all right, go for it. Offensive side, glaring.
Line.
Omar never watched a Bronco game before. The Broncos had one of the best offensive lines in the league.
No,
If you had to point at one very minor weak link, is the center, and he did just fine, Luke Wattenberg. But no, they have a couple of all pros on the offensive line, and the other guys on the other side are just not a slouch. You didn't watch a single Bronco game last year.
It shows on the running backs. So.
The running backs just weren't good. The running backs were not good. And that's where I'm going to go. Obviously, that needs to be covered in the draft. I hope the Broncos take 2 running backs in the draft and hope one hits. And bring in someone like a J.K. Dobbins as a veteran. Just clean house. The starting running back of the Broncos is not on the roster right now. Some early mock drafts had Genty falling to 20. It doesn't look that way anymore. But it looks like it's a deep draft for running backs. So hopefully they snag a couple of those guys, see which one hits, and move forward. But really, I mean, Broncos look pretty damn good next year, boys. And there's not a lot of holes on this team. So running back, we already filled the tight end hole with Ingram.
I think you guys could probably still take another tight end.
I mean, if
And
they wanted
maybe
to
a
run like a
receiver.
crazy 2 tight end set and just be a better version of Gronk and that murder
Well, I mean-
Aaron Hernandez, if they wanted to be a better version of that with Ingram and like Tyler Warren, but Tyler Warren's not going to fall at 20.
No, there's no. way.
Neither is Colson Loveland. So
I would honestly see you guys probably go receiver, even though you guys are pretty stacked on receiver too.
yeah, that could be. I mean, again,
They're
the
not
Broncos are kind of like
stacked on receiver. They have depth.
they have depth.
They don't have the top tier receiver.
No.
Mims is like a top and middle of the pack.
Well, the thing is, I'm saying like they still have like receivers that they still can make plays and shit. Basically,
I
Like,
mean,
they
we have
have
Sutton,
fucking
and he's
Sutton,
he's
yeah.
going to be the guy. Him and Nix really have a connection.
Yeah, so-
Shout out Cortland Sutton if you're listening. I mean, those other guys, they're all young, and we're just waiting for one of them to pop. So, I mean, again, it goes back to running back. And we need a couple of guys in there that could really step up and be a solid starter. We just don't have one right now.
Okay. So
How do you whittle it down to one, dude?
how do I
You
go to just
don't.
one
You can't.
one position when we need almost
You
every single
can't.
position? Honestly, I honestly think
You have a
that
beard
for
or something?
offense, the biggest need of them all is quarterback. I know that we just picked up Geno Smith, which gives us the opportunity to not.
Damn,
have to,
dude, you're not drinking the Kool-Aid? I thought maybe you were on that Geno Smith Kool-Aid.
What do you mean,
Did you say quarterback or corner?
quarterback?
Quarterback. Yeah.
So
So,
you-
you don't believe in Geno?
I'm not saying that I don't believe in Geno, but it doesn't mean that we like. Let's say Shedeur Sanders lands at 6. I would still pick up Shedeur Sanders because I would want to like still think about like the future, basically like have Geno for at least a year or two while Shedeur kind of like gets better at his position, and then because even Tom Brady doesn't. He even said himself he doesn't like a rookie starting. He wants his rookies to like sit back and learn.
Yeah, but that's not Shedeur. Do you think Shedor's going to
Yes,
sit back
yes, he
and
is.
keep his mouth
Yes,
shut?
yes.
He's already not keeping his mouth shut.
I mean, what do you
He hasn't
mean?
even been drafted. He hasn't not been keeping his
He
mouth
hasn't
shut.
even said anything. What does he say?
He doesn't have to say anything. He'll just point at his
Yeah.
wrist.
What does that have to do with him starting though?
He's going to say, it's time. It's time for me to start. It's time for me to start.
I don't think he's falling to 6.
Yeah, his mentor is basically Tom Brady. That's gonna tell him straight up, like, just stand behind Geno and just let the
So-
time will come, basically.
So if Geno signs like I don't know, even like a 3-year deal,
Yeah, it's only
you're gonna be
worst case scenario is gonna be like either if we pick up Shedeur and like he ends up Geno gets hurt or he's just not being good or like not even up to the standards and Shedeur goes in, it's only gonna be a year if anything, but it might be at least a 2-year contract with the way out. But it's gonna be like I'm pretty sure the whole contract itself might be a 3-year extension because he still has this year, so which is gonna be 4 years all included, around 120 million, which is gonna be like around 40 something a year. So
So then after a year, and you still owe him 2 more years at least of guaranteed money.
there's gonna be
Instead of like you said, like
So-
it's not going to be the 4 years guaranteed or 3 years guaranteed.
so essentially
It'll be like 2.
it'll be at least 2 years guaranteed.
But then you're going to waste those 2 years of the rookie contract,
Yeah.
so
where
essentially
you can take advantage.
yeah,
of it.
essentially what he's saying is the Raiders looked at the Falcons and were like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
but
the,
we actually
that's
have-
the way to go.
Yeah, but we
Yeah,
actually
we're
have
gonna
a
give
way
this dude
out.
a ton of
We don't
money.
have an expensive backup quarterback.
But the Falcons had all the role players on rookie contracts, like all their Drake
really.
London, Kyle Pitts, all these guys. had
Kyle Pitts
all
is in
on-
his 4th year.
Yeah, he's still a rookie contract.
Yeah, he only has 2 more years until like he only has this year and that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, he was still under his rookie contract. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. You're wasting those rookie contracts while you have your rookie contract for your. The only rookie contract that matters is the one for your quarterback.
Yeah, which is gonna be 5 years, and even if he stands behind 1 year behind a quarterback, it's not even a
4
loss.
years.
Look at what
5,
happened
you
with
bring it
Patrick
up, it's not
Mahomes.
as bad, yeah.
Because Patrick Mahomes literally was in his 5th year. Like, he also was a first-round pick. Didn't start until his 2nd year. And, I mean, basically, they ended up re-signing him. And, like,
They gave him like a 10-year deal
Yeah,
just to
but-
spread out the cap.
and he still had, like, 2 more years on his rookie deal. Or a year, I think.
Yeah.
So, I'm like, for me, like I'm saying, like I said, I wouldn't mind them picking up a quarterback, which I don't think he's going to land there. So, I was pretty sure they might go with a quarterback down the, like, in the
I think
third
it
or
would
second
be
pick.
next year for them, for
But
the quarterback.
It's gonna, and I think that's the reason why they haven't really like given
Yeah.
this full like a contract extension just yet. They want to see what's gonna happen
Yeah, it
after
would
the
be
draft.
next year would be smart for them.
But-
Pick up, like I said, pick up guys that's going to build your team, get them on their rookie contracts, and then bring in your quarterback and let everybody grow together.
Yeah. So, but I'm still gonna stick to my biggest need is the quarterback. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
But if we're gonna say like Geno, like well, Geno is there, but if after this year, I would still, I mean, it would either be quarterback or running back at this point because we have no running back.
He's
We
just
actually-
signed 33-year-old or Mustard.
Yeah. Mustard. The savior. Mustard.
Yeah.
Dude's old as hell. He's like older than my dad.
Older than your dad, dude. You're older than him by like a year, by 2 years.
And Alex said he could fall forward for 3 yards.
Yeah, bro. If
But
they,
how many-
they want to give me a contract, I'll play for
I
him.
mean, he did ball out versus the Broncos, so I know.
Yeah, again, I could have
So
done
did
it.
everybody for the Chargers. So even the kicker balled out against the Broncos.
That random
free kick.
free kick they gave him.
Shoot.
Dude,
We were so
Yes.
confused watching that from
they
the stands.
brought out the freaking handbook for that one. I was like, what
I
the
had
hell?
plenly of beers in me at that point too, so I was just
We were
like,
there.
"What the hell
We
is
had
going
no
on?"
idea what was going on.
Oh.
That thing went through. They said 3 points. I said, hell yeah.
They didn't even question it.
that changed the whole makeup of that game. Honestly, I think it confused the Broncos. They're like, how are we down, or how did we just lose 3 points on just like nobody was even near him.
Yeah, that
Nobody
conf-
snapped the ball to him. How does that happen?
That confused the hell
Dude,
out of
that
me.
shit was confusing.
I'll
but-
take it though.
Defensive side, what
For
do
a
you got?
defensive side, I'm gonna say linebacker. We lost Robert Spillane and Divine Diablo.
Who did they sign free agency?
London, I forgot his last name, but he was from the Steelers.
Yeah,
He's a really good run stuffer, but we still need somebody who can cover tight ends because that's honestly been our biggest like hole like for the last freaking 20 years. We can't freaking stop.
well
No tight ends.
they'll be okay against the Chargers in that regard.
Well, Disley.
Yeah, so linebacker, and I'm pretty sure if we stay healthy, our D line's gonna be fine. Corners, we have pretty good corners, and yeah, pretty much. But yeah, linebackers the only need on defense.
I don't know about you guys, but I feel like a lot of linebackers and slot corners can kind of are like interchangeable, like a lot of the time,
Well-
and even safeties. They
well,
kind
yeah,
of bring
our-
them down and.
Devon Diablo was actually a strong safety, and he was converted to a linebacker.
Well, Derwin James was a Pro Bowler. I don't know if he was a Pro Bowler or All Pro as a slot corner because he was playing up on the line.
He played with the ball in the box.
I guess it depends on the player. I mean, I love Cody Barton last year with the Broncos. He moved on. I wouldn't want him covering a quick slot guy. He'd get burned.
Well, yeah, Derwin James is just All Pro everything.
No, I mean, and yeah, but he can definitely freaking cover tight ends too. But there's not really that much linebackers that can really cover a tight end right now.
Trey Greenlaw can, and he will.
Deion Henley.
Anyways,
My breakout player.
I think that pretty much covers it for the first episode of the Third and Thirsty podcast, boys.
So
Oh, yeah.
if you had to say last place so we're going back this way. Prediction for next year.
Already, we're doing predictions
Hey,
for next
it's
season.
at the
To
end of
record?
the season. What do we think? Just whatever we think. It's nothing that we're gonna hold each other to. It's just
I know we're gonna win more than 4 games.
I don't know. No, I think they will too. I mean, Pete Carroll.
Maybe 6.
Honestly, Pete Carroll's a pretty.
You bring in
I was gonna
a
say
serious
honestly,
head coach.
I was gonna say 6, but I'm just saying over 4.
Yes,
Yeah,
you actually
definitely over 4, yeah.
finally have a serious head coach. Antonio Pierce was such a fucking
And honestly, I know like our GM, dude, that fool's actually like smart, dude. Like,
give it a couple seasons before you really start blowing.
Brady's gonna attract players.
Well, it's not
'cause of
just that.
Brady.
Like the
That's
contracts
just
that he's
gonna
giving
attract.
out, I'm just like, dude, like. And I'm shocked. I'm shocked that you didn't like. That fool was with the Broncos when when you guys won the Super Bowl. He was in the office.
So if you had to guess, what would you think for next year?
Honestly, like six months.
And you would be like, that's a successful year compared to last year?
If we can, I wouldn't say it's
It's
successful.
50% more wins.
But if we can double our wins from last year, it will be a success. So if we can get 8 wins, I'll say it's
dude,
success.
that's asking a lot, especially.
No, that would be a great season for the Chargers or for the Raiders next year.
Chargers too.
That's
Chargers
asking a
too.
lot, dude.
That would
8
be,
wins.
no, I was saying, that would be a great season.
Yeah.
Chargers
But
too, because
eight
you guys are
is great. Realistically, 6, you think?
realistically 6.
Okay. I was, being realistic. Same here. Same
I
here.
mean, dude, trust me. Like I know that the Raiders have a lot of shit to go through right now.
And it's not going to
It's
be
not
one
gonna be-
year.
yeah, it's not gonna be a
done in
1 year.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I can see them going from like 4 to 6, and like depending on how like if I can see upgrades on the offense and defense, I'll be like, okay, at least we're going up and not like being
Yeah.
stuck where we're at.
And being the 4th place team, you will have the easier schedule.
Yeah, which kind of for me is like that's the reason why the Chargers made it to the playoffs last year. Y'all be
They
like,
did have the
because
easiest
what was your guys' record against actual playoff teams? Yeah, I think only playoff team you guys beat was the Broncos.
So we were 2.
You guys lost to
I
every
mean, I think
other
it was
playoff.
3. I think it was like 3 and like 4.
No, you guys
or
lost
something
to
like
every
that.
single playoff
That's
team.
what I'm saying. It was 3 and 4. Every other playoff team was like 3 and
Broncos.
4.
Broncos actually beat the Bucks.
Yeah, but that was about it. When it came to playoff teams, they didn't have a great record.
But
Next year, man, if the
you guys
Broncos,
are like your guys' both defense, yeah, you guys are gonna be
Broncos defense is going to be the best in the league.
even. I mean, I can honestly see Chargers top 5 at most.
Yeah, they'll be behind the Broncos. Man, next year, I mean, they won 10 last year. So next year they're going to be better. They're going to win the NFC West and win a
Chiefs are
playoff game or
definitely not
two.
gonna win.
Realistically.
Yeah,
That's okay. That's your high hopes.
Yeah, I'll put my money where my mouth is. Not here in California. I do not gamble illegally. I definitely do see the Broncos win the NFC West next year, winning a playoff game or two, having a ton of cap space with Mr. Unlimited, his contract falling off the books, signing
How
a
much you
couple
guys pay him
players,
again?
a lot of money.
Let's ride.
Let's
How much did
ride.
you guys give up for him?
I honestly don't remember. It was a ton of money, but it's falling
They
off.
still owed him like 25 this past year.
35.
Right?
Yep,
We're at
and
36.
it's falling off next year. They'll sign a couple players. They'll win a Super Bowl next year.
I mean, for me, Chargers, if we get back to 11 wins, that would be great. That's just going to have a tougher schedule this year, being the number 2 team in the division. So I'm hoping that the players we bring in get coached up and we get back to where we were, back to 11 wins. That'll get us into playoffs. If I'm really, really shooting high, maybe 12 wins. Because I don't see them winning more than 12. Just because it's just, like I said, harder schedule.
With your guys' like how much you guys think is going to win? Do you guys think the Chiefs are going to be in 3rd or 2nd? Because I know one of you guys is probably going to be the first.
I don't care. About
It's going to be a battle between, I think, the Chargers and the Broncos for first place.
Yeah,
I think
so too.
the Chiefs are going to take a step back just because they got too lucky last year. Both of you guys should
Not
have
just-
been. Both of the
Not
Raiders
just
and the
that,
Broncos
but
should have
they
been.
lost a lot of players this season too, and they gave up a lot on their
Yeah.
offensive line. So
Yeah, the Chiefs' reign on the top, I think, is over. I might regret saying that for the 4 people that are listening.
It's going to be. I think it's going to be a 3-team battle up top. It's going to be close. I think every game, besides the Raiders games, are going to be tough games, and
you
it's
say
going to
that
be a
now, but
knockout,
when you
drag
guys
out.
lose against us,
brawl.
we'll see.
No, I can't say too much because every division game is tough.
Yeah.
You never know. It could be the fourth place team versus the first place team. It's just they know each other too well.
Oh yeah, it can definitely go either way.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
On the Third and Thirsty podcast, coming to you weekly. We're going to try to do an episode every Monday night. So depending on how quickly I could figure out this editing stuff, hopefully I can have it uploaded by like Wednesday. And we'll keep going. Hopefully at some point, maybe we can do a couple episodes a week. But it's just fun getting together, talking some ball, talking some shit, having some beers.
After many years of talking shit to each other, you might finally can record it. Finally.
Then we can look back and be like, can you believe that you said the Broncos are going to win the AFC West and they're going to win the Super Bowl in 2 years? What a dumbass. If you are listening, if you're one of the few people that are, really appreciate it. Do the whole like and subscribe, leave a comment, give us a rating on any podcast platform that you're listening to.
Yeah, definitely leave a comment. We'll definitely answer it.
Yeah, there won't be much to answer.
I know there might not be so much, but we'll answer whatever comes through.
We'll send you a care package.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you want to ask. We'll answer it. Does not matter what it is.
Yeah, Jerry Judy, if you're listening, you suck. Bo Nix, you're the savior. I love you. Anyone else want to give a shout out to anybody that might be listening to this episode? To my wife, thank you for watching our daughter tonight.
Say, our wives are probably going to be the only ones watching this.
To my cousins that are actually allowing them to be out here right now.
That's true.
All right, that's it. Hopefully that was close to an hour. I have no idea where we are on time.
Not at all.
No. I didn't even see what time we started.
All right, well, that's
hey,
it.
That's what it was, and this is what it is. This is our first time, and we're having a good time with it.
All right, apparently that's Omar's sign-off for the show that he's going to sign off with every episode. That was corny as fuck. See you guys.
See you later.